Today I'm building a dual gaming setup using Corsair's Platform 6 desks. They're gonna go inside my very empty dining room as a his and her setup for me and my girlfriend. That's right, no desk for you. Shout out to Corsair for sponsoring this video and providing most of the gear we're using today. You can find links to everything in the video description. Having to build this much hardware for a single person seems a little intimidating, but I mean, they're just desks. How hard could it be? Before we continue, this video is brought to you in part by CDKeyOffer.com. So I have 3 desktop PCs that I regularly bounce between, and all of them are running activated copies of Windows from keys that I got on CDKeyOffer.com. I've used many key sites in the past, but CDKeyOffer is the only one I've never had an issue with. I've never had a bad key, I've never had to call customer service, I've never had to email customer support, and I've never had to activate Windows over a phone, which is super fun. Right now you can get a Windows 10 Pro OEM key for around $22, but wait! Add it to your cart, use the 25% discount code BW20 at checkout, and the price drops to just $16.93. Buy Grabthar's hammer, what a savings. To use your new key, just go to your purchased orders from the drop-down menu to view and copy the key once you get there, and then paste that key into the Windows activation page. Voila! You've got an activated OS that's also eligible for a free upgrade to Windows 11. Alternatively, you can skip the upgrade and buy Windows 11 Pro directly using the same code BW20 to snag the OS for around $23. Activate the key using the aforementioned steps and get the full Windows experience easily and affordably. Thanks again to CDKeyOffer.com. Now back to the main video. All right, we're gonna start off nice and easy and build one of the desks first. Something to note is that when you order the Platform 6, it arrives to your doorstep in 3 separate boxes. You can see right here, box 1, box 2, and that little one, box 3. And based on my limited knowledge of numbers, I'm gonna open up box 1 first. Let's just lower her nice and easy. Oh God. Our first peek into the box. Foam. Our first peek under the foam. More foam. But also the tabletop and accessories. And this is the manual. Oh my goodness, it's thick. All right, here are some of the pieces from box number 1. I did leave the tabletop inside the box so we don't scratch up the surface when installing the legs, which I'm not sure where the legs are. They might be in box number 2. They're not in box number 3 because that's just the power strip. So we'll open that up in a sec. Although I did want to mention that the Platform 6 does give the option for the vertical electronic desk that goes up and down. However, I just opted for the basic static desk because I'm lazy. All right, the legs better be in here. Is it bad that I'm already sweating? Legs, legs. Give me the legs. Yeah, is this a leg? This looks like a leg. That's a leg, that's a leg. Ooh, and the monitor arms. Ooh. Tools and accessories, we're gonna need these. Ooh, very nicely packaged. Very nicely labeled as well. Come on, leg, I love leg. Oh my God, it's so heavy. Good Lord, that's a heavy leg. The Platform 6 did not skip leg day. Hold on. Hold the phone. These look like electronic legs. It's got a power cable, what the frick? And then this thing? Dude, they gave me the fancy desk that goes up and damn, they really want me to stand. Corsair's like, you need to get off your ass, Kyle. All right, finishing up the second leg here. And bada bing, bada boom. Hey. These feel very sturdy, actually. And the bolts are really nice and chunky. There's a cable management tray. Look at how big this cable management tray is. Like, this is my hand for scale, just an average man's hand. It goes all the way down there. This is great because we have a gaming PC and 2 monitors at each setup, so there's gonna be a lot of wires flying around. This is gonna help us tidy things up a lot. All right, just installed these 2 frames, and that will allow us to mount this tray like so. There are holes on this side. Tell me there are holes on this side. Yes, there are holes. Oh, I love it when there's holes. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, and these are like thumb screws, so you can easily undo it and let the tray down if you want to get in there. Next up, we gotta install the controller for our motorized legs, and this is cool. You can install it either to the right or the left side of the desk, whatever your preference. We're gonna mount it to the right side, and then we also gotta mount down our power supply for those legs, which you can see I've already seated in between the rails of the desk. I just gotta screw it down. On a quick side note, I was a bit bummed out to see all the hex screws for this thing because I'm a bit of a Phillips man myself. Of course, Corsair includes this handy dandy ratchet. It's so handy! And for all the Phillips head screws, I have my handy dandy LTT screwdriver, lttstore.com. Wait, wrong channel. We're at the exciting part now, the big flip. Get a friend and turn the desk over. Be careful, it's heavy. With the motorized legs installed, that desk feels twice as heavy now, so I'm gonna need some help flipping it. Hey, do you guys wanna, never mind. Yep, this is fine. This is totally fine. Okay. Fine. All right, here it is, black laminate. You can also opt for a dark walnut stain if you like that sort of thing. I just went black, cause black don't crack, baby. Very nice surface, feels high quality, and surprisingly resilient to fingerprints. My palms are very sweaty mom spaghetti right now, and it's hardly picking up anything. You know, this is actually pretty cool. I've always wanted a desk with my own personal bar. I'm really liking the ease of assembly here, and the instructions are just super clear. Like it'll say step 5, and there's a bag that actually says step 5 in it with all the pieces that you need for that particular step. Ooh, we got these little dowel pins. It's like IKEA. Is there a meatball in here? Now we gotta work on the top rail assembly. This is gonna allow us to connect certain things like the pegboard, some Elgato accessories, and even our monitor arm mounts. So we gotta start off with these corner supports. I have to align this bar with these T-nuts first and not damage the table in the process. All right, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Come on, baby. Come on, you're almost there. A little lower. Oh yeah, that's good. Now I can line up the other side with this guy. And now I can screw him down. Hallelujah. Now let's take a quick second to talk about my nuts. I'm talking about T-nuts, of course. These handy little things go a long way in expanding the functionality of your Platform 6 desk. The silver ones have a 1/4-inch thread, which is great for mounting Elgato products, and then the black ones have a standard M6 thread. These basically just go anywhere that you see a rail. Anywhere there's a rail, you can pop one of these in. I've already got a black one in right there. And sky's really the limit on what you can mount to these guys. They also slide around, so fully adjustable, but there is a set screw if you want to lock it down. I also got some chunkier Elgato adapters for other things that we'll be adding in just a bit. For example, I believe this goes right in the middle of the dual monitor arm so that you can mount an Elgato face cam very easily right there in the center. Strip club! Yep, it's time for the power strip. All right, we got a couple power accessories here. We have a 6-port power strip, looks like maybe a 5 or 6 foot cable, and then we have 2 USB Type A 2.1 amp ports as well. So I think this is probably gonna get like plugged into the wall, and then we can actually stuff this inside of the cable management tray. And then we also have this little guy right here, which is a 3-outlet power strip, along with one Type A and a Type C port. This can clamp to the desk, or you can remove the clamp and actually mount this to the rail system. It would look something like that. You can slide that around however you like as well. I'm just gonna mount it to the desk because I feel like lower would be better since I don't want the monitors to get in the way. Oh, I should mention that the top part of the clamp is padded so that you don't do any damage to the surface of the desk. Clampy wampy. And then we got this cable cubby at the back in the middle of the desk, which I believe has something in it that we need. Aha, USB-C cable. Oh, I see this is for pass-through. This is pass-through power. So one end is actually gonna connect to the USB port on our power strip, and the other end will connect to the bottom. There's a USB-C port. It's kind of hard to see right here. There's a USB-C port right here at the bottom of the cubby, and on the inside of the cubby, you have a Type A and a Type C port right there for pass-through power. They really thought of everything. The desk is all plugged in and powered up. We should theoretically be able to raise and lower it with the controller. Oh, it works! It goes pretty high, actually. So high it went out of frame. So just for reference, I'm 5 foot 7 inches tall. Calm down, ladies. And as you can see, this is way too tall for me at its highest position. So I'm gonna lower it down to something more comfortable. Now you can see perfect height. And there's memory profiles 1 and 2. Yay, motorized desk is working. Monitor arms, let's go. This looks like it. All right, so we just put this over the railing system. Clamp her down. And obviously you can slide this anywhere along the rail system to your heart's content. Cable management, clippy. This locking ring. All right, so there's a locking collar here, and if you loosen it, it allows you to move this piece up and down. That'll let you adjust the height of the monitors, essentially. Lock her down, and then we got our dual monitor adapter here. I believe this goes on here. Oh, yeah. Yoink. Secure from the bottom. Woo! Yee! Oh! Okay, I think we actually get to step away from the desk for a minute and install the monitors. We got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Xeneon monitors, courtesy of Corsair. This is the 27 QHD 240 OLED 27-inch gaming monitor. It's got J-Sync, 240 Hz refresh rate, LG OLED panel, come on! These things are super sexy, and I know what you're thinking, Kyle, why not 4K? Well, that's because Corsair hasn't exactly made the 4K version of this yet, but as soon as they do, I will promptly throw this heap of garbage out the window. Come to daddy, come to papa! Ooh, baby. Ooh, that is thin. That is like a big tablet. Oh, it's so thin. Have you been eating? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so beautiful. And here we go. Oh, there we go. Monitors installed. Looking pretty good there, see? Around the back looks pretty tidy as well. You can kind of see what's going on here. So we've got the arms, which actually have grooves in them, so you can run the cables along. Good cable management system. One thing about this desk that I forgot to mention earlier, though, is that it does come included with these cable management trays that you can mount to the back of the railing system. You can just kind of slide them around. You can also tighten them and lock them down if you so choose. It's just a nice alternative place to stash your cables if you don't want to use the tray down below. Now, one thing I knew we were going to run into is cable length issues. The included DisplayPort cable that comes along with the Xeneon monitors is too short. That is, of course, if you're using the cable management system in the monitor arm. This is a 5-foot cable, which simply isn't long enough if we're trying to route this in the most optimal fashion possible for cable management. It drops down here in the middle. We'd probably route it somewhere in the tray, and then it terminates right about here. We still need to go all the way over here and then around into the PC, which means we're about 5 feet short, I would say, if I'm eyeballing correctly. So basically, I need a bunch of 10-foot DisplayPort cables, which I do not have. I don't even have any at the office. They're all like 6 foot or under. I just checked Best Buy's website. They do have them in stock, but they're 30 bucks a pop for like the Insignia brand, which is absolutely insane. I found them on Amazon for 10 bucks a pop, so I just bought those, and they're gonna be here around tomorrow, if not 2 days from now, which sucks. We're gonna have to circle back to that, but let's move on. Now, Corsair did hook me up with the optional Elgato multi-frame system for both of the setups today, which is all this black stuff. It's the pegboards, the shelves on the sides, and you can mount extra stuff to it, make it look pretty and decorated and things like that. And I believe it is in this box right here. Desk extensions and pegboards kit. So not only do we get the pegboards and the shelves, but we also get the desk extensions, which is basically just a platform that is going to extend the desk, either on the right or left side. We can put the PC right on top of it, so we don't have to put it on the floor like a heathen. Ugh. Here we go again. All right, let's check it out. All right, pegboards, some extra framing, and the extension's probably under there somewhere. Oh, I think this is the extension right here, actually. Oh, it's heavy. Yep, that's definitely it. Is our PC gonna fit on there? I hope so. Which, by the way, both of our PCs today are gonna be inside of the Corsair 4000X, which is a fairly slim mid-tower, so we should be good on that. More on the PCs later, though. Houston, we have a problem. I just knew that things were going way too smoothly. I was under the assumption that this box, because it says desk extensions and pegboards kit, was the Elgato multi-frame system, because the multi-frame system, that's the key, one of the key elements is these giant pegboards, and it does come included with pegboards. However, one thing I failed to realize is that these are the pegboards that go on the side of the desk, not the ones that go up there with the multi-frame system. So this is a completely different kit. I just checked my inventory of boxes, and there is no Elgato multi-frame box to be found. We don't have them. It's an optional accessory, so we can carry on in the meantime and build the other desk and set up the PCs and stuff. But the multi-frame system does add a lot of functionality to the desks. It makes it look completely different as well, so I really do want to add those on. I've already emailed my rep at Corsair to find out what's going on, if those boxes ever shipped, if they arrived, if someone stole them off my porch, I don't know. But in the meantime, at the very least, we can move ahead and install one of these desk extensions. A single kit includes 2 of them, one for the left side and one for the right side of the desk. However, we're only going to be using one of these per setup, because we only need them for the PC. We don't need extra desk space. This thing's already freaking huge. To install a desk extension, place 3 T-nuts into the rails at the locations marked by the thicker vertical lines. Fully tighten screws once aligned. Insert screws into the top 2 T-nuts only and screw approximately 1/2 of the way in. Push desk extension over the screws, then slide until locked. Secure 2 top screws fully, then 3rd bottom screw. You're done. The desk extension is now installed and ready to use. Le moment de truth. Will it fit and will it hold? Oh, here we go. There we go. Not too bad. Fits perfectly, actually. Like a glove, like a glove. And it seems to be holding the weight just fine. There is a slight bit of sag. Like if I put a marble on here, it'd probably roll off very slowly. So there is a little bit of a dip, but I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, desk number 1 is complete for now. We have to wait until the Elgato multi-frame kit arrives, and then we'll install that once it's here. But for now, this is about as far as we can go for this particular desk. And now that it's fully built out, I want to give it a quick measure just to make sure it's going to fit with the other desk that's going to go side by side against this wall. Of course, I did my measurements way before this project even started, when I was even toying around with the idea. And according to my calculations then, both desks should fit, no problem, side by side. But let's just double check it now that we have the first physical desk right here, and that is just shy. We'll call it 83 inches. 83 inches, and that includes the desk extension, mind you. Without the desk extension, if you don't opt for that, you're looking at around 71 inches there. That would mean we need 166 inches, at least, or both desks will not fit. Please, 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 please. 166. Do I get 166? Yes! Oh my goodness, look at that. 172. That means if both desks are smashed together side by side with not a millimeter in between them, we'll have 3 inches on either side. That is absolutely absolutely perfect. This is destiny. I'm convinced my dining room was made for this. I will happily eat on the floor for the rest of my life. Now, just for the record, this is my setup. It's all black, it's pretty boring, it's pretty basic, just like me. I'll probably add some RGB at some point in this video later on, but this is gonna be my girlfriend Mel's setup. And she's got a little bit more taste than I do, I'll admit. I wanna take it up a notch and actually paint her desk white. That would include the tabletop itself, the extension, and I think it would also look nice if I painted the back pegboard white that is yet to arrive. And obviously that's gonna take a lot more time than my desk, but I think the end result is gonna be worth it because it'll really look like a his and hers when they each have their own personality as opposed to just like a corner of an office space. It is gonna be a tremendous amount of work though, especially because I'm not great at painting. I know very little about it. Plus, I don't really have any paint stuff. Let's get paint stuff. All right, we are ready to paint, and painting this thing is gonna be a process. So the first thing we need to do is sand it down. Got a handy dandy sander here that my good friend is letting me borrow. I'm gonna sand this down the entire tabletop as well as the sides just to get the surface nice and smooth so that we can prime it. We're gonna be using this Sticks material, this Sticks primer, and then once we do 2 or 3 coats of that, let it properly dry, we're gonna sand it again just to make sure it's nice and smooth before finishing it off with a top coat. We've got some Benjamin Moore Aura. The color is Chantilly Lace. This is gonna be more of a pleasant off-white, and we are using a satin finish, so it's not 100% matte. There's a little bit of shine to it, but not too much. All right, here we go. All right, sanding went pretty smoothly. Haha, see what I did there. I made sure to mask off all the areas we don't want painted, and then I wiped down all surfaces that we are painting with a microfiber cloth to get rid of any dust. Now we're ready for the primer. Primer? I hardly know her. Rolling right along here. Our first coat of primer is complete. We're gonna let it dry for 3-4 hours, and then I'll do another coat, let that sit overnight, and then we'll be ready for paint. All right, it is the morning after now, and our second coat of primer has finally finished drying. I just gave it a really light sand with 220 grit just to make sure that everything's nice and smooth before we do our first coat of paint. And actually earlier this morning, I took that can of paint to the local hardware store so they could make an aerosol version so we can actually spray it on the pegboards of the Elgato multi-frame system, which just arrived today. So that's gonna allow us to get a perfect color match between the tabletop and the pegboards. We're gonna kind of play things by ear. I'm guessing 2 to 3 coats should be enough for the tabletop, and then probably 3 to 4 coats for the pegboards, just to make sure we're getting the inner rims of all those little holes and slits. Hopefully all that stuff I'm about to do right now goes smoothly. Okay, we're back. There's been a lapse in time since the last shot in this video because there was a week-long thing called CES that I was at. It was a lot. It was a lot of time. It was fun. I'm glad to be back though, and it all happened right in the middle of this project. I couldn't get it done before I had to leave for Vegas, but I'm back. My voice, however, is not. I guess what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas after all, but the show must go on. We're just gonna pick up right where we left off, which was painting the desk. And look, it's looking good. It's white. This was a very time-intensive, laborious task, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And even with the light, you can't really see all the detail very clearly on camera, but unless you were really taking a close-up look and you had a really keen eye for it, you wouldn't be able to tell this is DIY. I am actually very surprised myself that I was able to pull this off. Obviously, I had a lot of help from some of my friends. One of my friends, Alvaro, shout out to him. He helped me immensely. He actually knows what he's doing when it comes to this sort of thing. And a couple of the guys at the hardware store gave me some helpful tips as well, but I am so impressed. I'm shocked, actually, how good it looks. And that goes double for the pegboards. Now, I initially was trying to spray paint these, but the can was clogged, and so as I started spray painting it, I didn't do a test spray first, shame on me. It just started spewing out chunks of paint onto these things, and it was horrible. I was like, oh my god, I'm ruining everything. So I had to act fast. I just ended up rolling all of it. I just used the same roller that I used for the desktop, and that actually turned out pretty good. I have to say, I think it might have turned out better this way. I thought maybe there was going to be clumps of paint in between all the holes and the slots, but it turned out really nice. But moving right along here, the next thing we're going to do is set up the Elgato multi-frame system, which is the accessories that you see in here. There's another set in there, and sorry, all the foam is torn up because my cats love to play with this stuff. But we're gonna set that up and then really just kind of accessorize both desks. Huge shout out to Corsair and Elgato for providing all the peripherals and all of the fun devices that will be connecting to both of these PCs. We have 2 sets of pretty much everything, one for each desk, including the Wave 3 microphones and pop filters, Stream Deck Plus, Facecam Pros. These are mounting arms for the Wave 3s, one in black and one in white. We have key lights as well, just in case my girlfriend and I ever decide to stream. These are some plushies that she brought from her place place that she's going to use to decorate her side, or maybe I'll just decorate it for her since she's not here right now. Corsair peripherals as well, HS80 Max in white, as well as one in black. And then we have the K60 Pro TKL, that's going to be the girlfriend's. Mine is the K65 RGB Mini. And then our mice are right there, the M65 RGB Ultra Wireless in black and white. Links to everything in the video description. Go ahead and check out all that good stuff. One last thing I want to mention is I decided that I am actually going to remove this desk extension. I'm not going to use the desk extensions after all. I think they work great. They look fine. However, by removing these, it opens up a little bit of space in between the desks for a mini fridge. But not just any mini fridge. This is a New Air RGB mini fridge. I was just thinking about it. I was like, okay, maybe it's a little too office looking just to have two desks side by side. Maybe something in the middle. There should be something in the middle. I didn't know what to actually put in between the desks. And then I saw the mini fridge on Amazon. I was doing some research and I was like, this would be perfect. It's a great dimension. I just think it's going to work out really well and look a bit less like an office space. So in order to get that fridge in there though, I obviously have to remove the desk extension. So those will just be put to the side for now. I think that's the last of it though. So without further ado, let's finish this off and I'll give you guys a grand tour once it's all done. Freaking dokey. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, I'm very excited. I'm very excited with how this all turned out. I don't even know where to start. My setup, as you can see, is very, very, very minimal. It's super basic. I kind of wanted it that way. I just didn't want any frills, nothing fancy. And boy, did I get it. It's almost dull, right? It's almost boring to an extent, but it's really clean. I love this wallpaper. I just found it randomly on Google. It really shows off the black levels of the Xeneon OLEDs very nicely. The black levels, you can even see like there's a building. There's a building right there. I don't think you'd be able to see that on an IPS display. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that. The contrast is amazing on these things, but very clean setup, very happy with it. And then the pegboards, I wasn't sure what to do. I wanted to stay minimal, but I didn't want it to look bare. Thankfully, I had the idea to use my airsoft gun. It's a KWA VM4 Ronin, in case you were curious. It just fills up the space nicely, and it blends in perfectly with the setup. It's all blacked out with some white trim. The rest of it is just kind of little peripherals and stuff, headset, cables, and then we've got the Xbox controller. Not much else to it. I did do a little homage to PC gaming with Atlas and Peabody from Portal. It's a classic, just very beloved Valve/PC game, so I thought it was a nice way to pay respects to the PCMR. I've got some Govee LED strips behind the whole desk and actually under the desk as well. Just kind of illuminates it a bit, kind of makes things pop. Otherwise it'd be very, very dark and just absorbing all the light. In case you were wondering about the PC, it is rocking an RTX 4090 as well as, oh, what's in there? Oh, it's a 7700X. I might swap that out for something a bit more powerful. It's perfectly fine for gaming and even streaming and stuff if I plan to stream, but if I start editing out here, which I very well might do because it's just such a nice little environment out here, I might actually swap that out for maybe a 12 core, 16 core, something like that. But for now, it's good. Very comfy chairs. These chairs from Corsair. What's the name of this thing? T3 Rush, and then girlfriend's is TC200. And then we've got the mini fridge. Oh my gosh, this New Air mini fridge. I was a little worried at first because it's not cheap, and I was like, am I really spending $300, $400, $500 on this stupid fridge if it's not gonna work? But it actually works perfectly. I would only suggest splurging on it if you have the money to do so, and it's really gonna fit in nicely with your room, your game room, whatever. But it looks great. You can fit a lot of drinks in here. It's nice and cold. Many shelves, they are adjustable, beautiful, and the RGB, of course. Where's the remote? Ah, yes. So it's got dynamic mode, which is my fave. It basically just cycles between colors. It's not addressable RGB, so it's just gonna be one color at a time, but it transitions very seamlessly between colors, and you can adjust the brightness on that, the speed. Of course, you can do like a single color if you want. It's got a color wheel and stuff on the remote, and it's nice and bright. It's just a very nice looking fridge, and I think it's gonna look even nicer once I have some drinks in there. I didn't really know what to do on top top of the fridge. I wanted to put something there, otherwise it'd look a little bare. So I just used this MSI Lucky the Dragon statue that they gave a bunch of tech reviewers one year because it was their anniversary or something like that. I don't really like it a whole lot. It's not bad, it's fine, but I just don't like the fact that it's like super branded and makes me look like an MSI fanboy. They didn't pay for this or anything. I just didn't know what else to put here. I'm probably gonna buy something else on Amazon or whatever that's more to my personal taste. But for now, it's a nice little placeholder. The girlfriend's setup is much more colorful than mine. I actually like her setup more, and I think the reason behind it is because it was a labor of love. It actually cost me a lot of time, effort, energy, and money to paint it white. Whereas this one, I just kind of followed the instructions and set it up. It's still beautiful, turned out great, but this one just really was a labor of love, and I just love the way it turned out. It's all white. Well, it's white with black accents, and that's the other thing I like about both of our setups is that they're polar opposite, but they have the same color scheme. You know, mine's black with a little bit of white, and hers is white with a little bit of black. So it's kind of like a yin and yang thing, his and hers. It works out. All the RGB for her setup, of course, and by the way, she picked out all this stuff, like the plushies, and she bought little knickknacks and stuff like whatever this is. I just arranged it. She wasn't here. I'm sure when she comes over this weekend, she'll rearrange it to her liking, but I think I did an okay job. I added some of my PSA 10 Pokemon cards there. You know, whatever I could think of. Another Xbox controller, the Pop Bubble game that she gave me for Christmas, and some other little trinkets and stuff. Her system has it's last gen, so it's got a Ryzen 9 5900X, the 12 core, and an RTX 3080. So last gen, but still kick-ass system. And again, these are 1440p monitors, so can definitely run whatever you throw at it. This little cloud thing, this armrest that she bought, it's very cute. More plushies. She really loves plushies, in case you couldn't tell. And I think the chair here matches very nicely as well. It's gray. At first I was like, eh, but then you got gray accents on the PC. It just kind of works. Bitwit desk mat that is now discontinued, so it's a bit of a vintage relic. Overall, I could not be any more happy with how this turned out. I don't have really good lighting in this room. Well, it's well lit right now because I got the studio lights, but without those, it's pretty dark in this room. I have this ceiling fan that's hideous. It was here when I moved into the house several years ago, but it hasn't worked since the day I moved in. I was like, oh, I'll replace it like in the first week, and it's been like 3-4 years. So I'll probably get rid of that and probably add some more recessed lighting. This is turning into a home reno vlog now. Basically, these lights, I'm gonna put maybe 4 of them in here, remove that completely. Maybe I'll do a little chandelier because I actually bought some furniture for the rest of this room. If I take a step back, you can see that it's still fairly empty, right? We still got some room to work with here. So I bought some stuff. I bought a nice little like modern looking shelf. It's kind of futuristic looking. It's got glass shelves that are RGB lit. I think there's like 16 colors, a little bit less than 16 million, but it'll have to do. And I got a nice like black and white rug with like these circular patterns on it. It looks really cool. I think it's gonna match very nicely. And then I have a glass table that I bought that's gonna go on top of that. It's got a chrome frame with a glass top, and then these really futuristic looking plasticky chrome chairs that I think is just gonna like tie everything together. Got some neon signs for the walls and that sort of thing. So follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. I'll probably be posting updated photos of the progression of this room as those furniture pieces come in. I'm super excited to start gaming out here with the lady because up until this point, we've been playing any PC games together out here in the living room on this giant OLED with my HTPC, which has been fine. It's been a lot of fun. We've had some good times out here, but we're pretty much limited to local co-op. And obviously there's a lot of games, a lot of multiplayer games that look super fun on PC that just don't support local co-op. So this will really allow us to just play those games together side by side and have a good time. Plus it's right next to the kitchen with all the snacks. So that's a bonus. But that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I know it was a long one. If you enjoyed it, please toss a like on it before you go and get subscribed to the channel for more tech content coming at you really soon. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.